shadow work is never done. And so you sometimes hear statements made like, oh, so-and-so hasn't done their shadow work, or you haven't done your shadow work. But the truth is no one has done their shadow work. I mean, let's be very careful if someone has claimed to have finished shadow work. Naturally, if one assumes they have finished their shadow work, that's going to constellate an opposite. That's going to prove itself to be false sooner or later. It's an image of completion. It's not the real thing. However, although someone can never finish shadow work, it's certainly possible to have not made any significant beginning into shadow work. It's always happening on some level to some extent, but in terms of this deliberate conscious process that proceeds throughout the arc of our lives, this is something that does have a beginning. Is this moment where you go, okay, I guess my mind is playing a role here. I'm going to begin taking responsibility for my mind, understanding what my experience tells me about my own mind. So this willingness to take responsibility, but then also the decision that's made upon that and the understanding of that, okay, I'm now going to move towards, therefore, greater self-knowledge. So it's the understanding and the decision based on that understanding. You can understand it and then decide to do nothing about it. Or you can set some kind of good intention, but without a decent understanding of what's really going on here. We actually need both of these things to be happening. So there aren't many lines in the sand in shadow work, but if there was one, there probably is this one. And it's the moment where you go, okay, my mind is playing a role, a bit like Kant's second Copernican revolution, but happening within your own mind, happening on a micro scale. There's that. But then there's also the intention to say, okay, well, based on this understanding, I'm going to change my attitude. I'm going to change my decisions going forward. I'm actually going to make this a conscious process. So it never ends, but it does kind of begin. Even though there's always this process of going out, coming back, of thesis and antithesis, there is this particular kind of that which happens within a human lifetime and is often catalyzed by midlife and is what we call shadow work.